I think, as life is.
Right. Size of the tongue. Okay. Well, I don't know. It's all in the size of the tongue, right?
You get very impatient with the Tootsie Roll Pop, and eventually you just bite right into it.
You bite right into it, and it's done.
Yeah.
It's all gone.
I only like the grape ones. I hate
What
the
about
brown ones.
what about the M&Ms that melt in your mouth and not in your hands?
M&Ms.
Like little M&Ms that melt in your mouth and not in your hands?
M&Ms were invented during World War II.
Yeah.
As a result, because they wanted to give the soldiers something that didn't melt in the battlefield.
Right.
And that's what they came up with, M&Ms, and we have them to this day. M&Ms are like among your best candies as a result of that. Yeah.
So it's always good, to chuck down on an M&M.
Oh yeah.
It's the different M&Ms, just chuck down on them and and say, hey, I'm biting into your family members right here, the M&Ms.
Aren't the
M&M
green
family
ones?
members.
The green ones are an aphrodisiac, according to Van Halen.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. See that you learn something new every day. Hey, out there, if you're listening to Gorgeous George and Kaye Lazar, give us a call here. 231-2186. It's 231-2186. That's to say, if you're listening out there in Radioland.
Oh yeah.
And if you're not, well then shame on you. Shame on you. Everybody knows your name.
And if you're lucky, we'll put you on the air. And if you're really lucky, we won't put you on the air.
Yeah. Tell you what. Kevin and I were talking about doing a zoo. Now, everybody, you got these untalented people that do zoos. You and I would do a good zoo together. You and I would do a good morning zoo together. Hell, we're doing a night zoo.
We wipe the floor with the competition.
You remember as a kid where you had you pull the string and different animals, made their sound?
See and say.
See and say. So you pull the string and watch the cow go moo, and you pull this thing again. Watch the cat go meow, and you pull the thing again and said, watch the bear licks go oh, and watch the old man go hoo hoo hoo. Well, that's a chimpanzee.
We had a see and say in our house, and you could buy them at
See
yard
and say.
sales.
See and say?
You could buy see and says. Let me tell you something. You buy them from the 1960s or the 70s, and they probably still work pretty well.
Right.
Probably not exactly as well, but they about maybe 3/4 of the time they'll still give the right
Well,
sound.
I mean, do they do different? Have they modernized it? Like, watch the old lady goes, oh, give it to me, oh.
I think they have modernized it. I don't know how, but the old one still.
And the old
one still works fine.
The old man goes, oh, I'm coming now.
I found out something really weird about a see and say. I was taking care of some little kids,
right?
And I was playing with, you pull the string and it makes that sound that, and the cat goes meow and the cow goes moo. And anyway, I found out that if you stopped it and did it, you get the, and it sounded like a rapper, like the rapper scratching on the LP. And so I said, you want to see my rap? And I was doing
the rooster goes, cock-a-doodle-doo. And the vagina goes,
I thought a vagina goes,
vagina goes,
that's more like it.
See and say, kids. But the only kids, this is a see and say for adults. Made by Procter and Gamble and K-Tel. Or no, Procter and Gamble.
Is that
what they used to make it? I mean, I'm getting the records mixed up.
No, Kenner made it.
Oh, Kenner made it. Okay.
And Mattel may have made it. I a lot of these things are owned by different companies. Like eventually Kenner might get it, or Hasbro might have it, and then eventually Kenner buys it, and then they start selling it and make it a little different. But K-Tel. Speaking of K-Tel, that was the record label of the 1970s, and this George, all this wonderful music you've been playing tonight reminds me of the glory days of K-Tel records.
That's right.
Or now now that's what I call music. Part 6 or Part 7.
Party in the hat. Cat in the hat, party in the hat.
Those were good albums in the sense that you didn't have to buy them.
231-2186. Give me a call.
And you get a rare chance to talk with us. Because you never get to talk with us on television.
And if you're a nice young lady, you might get a spanking. You might get a royal spanking. Baseball tonight, the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Texas Rangers. Tampa Bay Rays last night beat the Texas Rangers. That pissed me off. But now it's a one game in play between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Cleveland Indians.
Okay.
So whoever wins tonight, I think Tampa Bay Rays were up 1-0 over the Indians. Then they play the Boston Red Sox.
All right.
Boston Red Sox and the Detroit Tigers play the Oakland A's. Yeah. Now, last night, the Pittsburgh Pirates defeated the Cincinnati Reds 6-2. Pittsburgh Pirates defeated the Cincinnati Reds 6-2. That means the Pirates play my team, the St. Louis Cardinals. Yes. So the Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals play tomorrow. That's my team in baseball. And then the L.A. Dodgers play the Atlanta Braves. And all of this is for the World Series. World Series.
Oh, right. Playoffs. Great.
And the Yankees are not in there.
Yankees
go suck it. Yankees go suck it.
Yankees.
They're not in there.
Well, they were dealt a blow. That steroidal A-Rod is no longer there. Yeah. Or no, actually, he was still playing. But he may be thrown out of baseball.
Now here's the go. Now, NFL football. It's an interesting season because you always have the parity teams. You have the teams coming out of nowhere. Us Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, are 2-2. And everybody else is either 1-3, a game behind us. In all actuality, the Cowboys should be 4-0. And I'm not just saying that just to blow smoke and say it. Cowboys should be 4-0. Lost Kansas City. We should have beat Kansas City. Lost 1 point to Kansas City. It should be Kansas City. And we had the Chargers beat. And they came back on us because of, and then a key pass that Roma made to Terrence Williams, their wide receiver, Terrence Williams, a key pass, and he dropped it. That would have been a pretty much within striking distance of getting another score. Dallas's defense is awesome. I think the secondary still has some issues, but I think Dallas's defense is awesome. And I'm gonna make a bold prediction, and it doesn't matter because we won't be on next week, so I won't be able to be chastised until we do a TV show sometime in the future. But the Cowboys will beat Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos this Sunday.
Yeah, they're looking good. The
Cowboys will beat Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning this Sunday.
Chiefs are looking good too. Yeah.
And how about your Giants, man? 0-4.
How about that?
Giants 0-4.
Oh well.
Now, what you going to
do? I can't do anything about it.
Aren't you kicking field goals for them?
No.
I thought they paid you to kick field goals in your sandals.
Let me tell you something. They've been losing the last 3 games with such big scores, lopsided scores, that putting me as a field goal kicker in there wasn't going to change a thing.
Field goals in sandals, man. I mean, I thought you hit from anywhere.
Oh,
you nailed it.
Well, you know something about field goal kickers. That in theory they should hit it from 80 yards out. They don't. You know, if you get a 60-yard field goal, that's pretty good.
What if the surface is wide?
What?
What if the surface is wide? Should it stick in?
Should.
If the surface is wide, and it's got a hole, should it stick in that hole?
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah.
You think it should?
Hope so.
Okay. Let's check it. All right. Going to touch about a little something in code here. I'm not going to really belabor this. Want to touch upon this, and this is I find it really hard to get around this. I just kind of want to say it. Someone that we used to know, someone who was a big part of this show back in the day, who started this show with me back in the day. Well, that person remains nameless. That person is a son of a bitch, if I can say it. Son of a bitch. That person backstabbed me in a courtroom about maybe a couple weeks ago. Living rent-free in my humble house, and backstab me. Well, if you're listening tonight, I hope you enjoy your stay at the frickin' hotel there, because that's where you're gonna be staying at in the hotel. You frickin' piece of, well, I gotta stop. But anyway, someone who's been a friend to you, someone who's helped you, and you stab me in the back. Someone who's helped you and you stab me in the back. What a life that you have. What a family, what a dysfunctional family you have. May you rot in hell. And that certain party, well, I won't say his name, but guess what? You started the show with me back in the 90s. And you know what? May you rot in hell. You started the show back with me in the 90s, and you're an SOB. You're an SOB. May you rot in hell. I said it. There you go. Kevin's speechless.
And now, and now here's a song by Miley Cyrus.
Devil went down to Georgia looking for soul to steal with the fire moon and way behind a wailing make a deal. He saw it on this young boy's cellar and fill and playing it hot. And the devil stepped on a hickory step and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. I guess you don't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And for me to grab your soul, I bet your soul to think I'm better than you." The boy said, "My name is Johnny, and it might be a sin. Well, I'll take your bet. You're going to regret, because I'm the greatest ever been."
You know, Charlie Daniels coming to the State Fair this weekend for a free show. Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah. So
is he doing the Devil
thanks for
Went Down
that. Thank you for plugging him and the State Fair. Yeah.
Isn't he doing the Devil Went Down to Richmond?
I'm sure you can't. He doesn't do a show where he doesn't sing that.
Is that right?
Yes, he's a pretty good singer. He's a pretty good singer. You know, I saw him at Innsbruck once, and this is really funny. He, as his encore, he played the national anthem. You know, the Star Spangled Banner. Right. He played it on a violin. He played a very nice version of it, like a country version of it, and people started dancing to it, which was weird because I think there's a law in the on the books that says you cannot dance to the national anthem, but no one was there going to have them arrested.
You can't dance to the national anthem.
No.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Let's say if you wanted a pet cardinal, can you put it in a cage?
Pet I've never known anyone with a pet cardinal. I've seen people keep pigeons.
For giggles. If you put a pet cardinal in a cage,
I don't know.
Would you be able to have
a
pet
might be
without
protected.
Being sued from the state?
They
It's
might
a state bird.
They might be protected. Yes. You know what is protected are those Canadian geese. You wonder why they're all around making a mess of everything?
Yeah.
They're protected. You cannot kill them. Yes. Some states do not protect them. So when they fly to maybe North Carolina or something,
what happens?
You could. Well, no. If you hit one, if it's an accident, you could probably explain yourself out. But you can't shoot them. Is what I'm trying to say.
Them or
you can't poison them or shoot
by accident or
by accident is different.
But if you do it by,
you might kill a bald eagle by accident.
I'm saying, but if you do it intentionally, what happens?
Oh well, then you run afoul. You run afoul of the laws. That
I
protect
mean,
birds.
what do they do if you run over those things?
Well, you would get arrested, and then you have to hire a lawyer, and then
for killing
yes.
You get arrested for killing one of those things.
Yes. Why have you killed one?
No, I haven't killed them.
Are they messing up your bird bath or something in your backyard or something?
Yeah, I know that it was a penalty, but I didn't know that they could.
Have you ever been to anywhere where there's water, like Bird Park?
My toilet.
Your toilet.
My toilet. Yes.
But I'm thinking mainly like a lake or something.
I need a good
or the river. Or the river, they mess up. All that green stuff at the bottom of James River. That's not algae. That's their poop.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I need a good plumber.
Yeah.
I put it on Facebook. I need my toilet is squeaking like a cat.
Yeah.
My toilet keeps squeaking like a cat. I don't know what's causing it. I need a good plumber. You know about
a good plumber really knows his crap.
Knows his crap or crap? He knows his what?
That's not what we say at home, but a good plumber really knows his crap.
So so what do you use down there? You use Drano? I mean, I don't know.
Oh well, you have a plunge. I mean, you do.
There's nothing wrong with the actual water flow down the commode.
If it's just making noise, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
It's making like a cat sound. I don't know if it swallowed a cat, or I don't know if the cat would put its head down there and it flushed the cat's head down there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a cat going. It
costs a lot of money. I know that.
Like that go like that.
I knew maybe there is a cat down there.
I don't know. I'm just wondering. And like when in the middle of the night,
I'm drowning.
When in the middle of the night, I'm wondering what the hell that is. To take it and pull it out. I have no idea what the hell is in there. So I don't know.
I don't know anything. I know they make a lot of money.
I thought you were a plumber's son.
No, I'm an amateur gynecologist.
I mean, among the other traits the trade that you have. Your boy Keith Van Allen, on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Coming out there. He drew a picture of you, and our famous Wendy Pace made a comment.
Great.
About your picture.
Great.
Don't have it in front of me. So then I came and I made a little comment.
They're
being
nice
funny,
people. Yeah.
Being funny about it, and I said that, I'm an ordained minister.
Great.
Because he was talking about how lovely his picture of you was. I love his picture. I said, well, I can get you all together and marriage. Take his hand in marriage and whatnot. And he says, now wait a second. I can recast. I'm doing a film, so be nice to me. He said, I'm going to get William Shatner instead. I said, well, you go right ahead. I'm just saying that I'm an ordained minister, and if you want to get married to Kevin or get married to anybody you want to get married to, I can perform like no other. Better than Elvis and better than Little Richard. I can perform it.
Little Richard's not doing too well.
He's not doing too well?
Yeah, I heard he's recovering at the hospital, yeah.
But I mean,
I've seen Little Richard perform.
I'm an ordained
in New York.
minister.
Yeah.
And I'm also a part-time gynecologist. I'm a part-time gynecologist, but it's not by hobby. It's by choice.
Yeah.
And one thing I like to do is be able to, almost like a field goal. But instead of kicking the ball, you kind of like fling it. Legs upright, they're bent, and there's a lot of movement going on.
Great.
But then you kick the legs up and you go right in for the kill, and then the field goal becomes good. And you know how the field goal is good? Because the legs go up. It's good.
I always think it's funny whenever a field goal is kicked. You see this in ball games on television all the time. When a field goal is kicked, everyone in the audience behind the goalpost always put their hands up before the referee does. How do they know?
Up through the uprights, down through the clutch, down through the chute, down through the uprights,
so
down through the grassy knoll, and it's been in a reception, immaculate reception, and it is good.
Yeah.
You like that song, rather? Hey, anyway, so it is October Mama Celeste.
Yeah.
Mama Celeste, who's related to me, who is my great-great-grandmother. Now, rumor had it, and I don't know much more than this. You remember Amin, right? Amin, that's my grandpa. Amin.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Amin, the ghost of Amin?
Picture.
Okay, well then, Mama Celeste, who was my great-great-grandmother, which means that she was my grandfather's grandmother. Yeah, she was my grandfather's grandmother. She used to come up there, and she used to, she had this little place where she did, abbadanza. She makes these pizzas, And back in the day, there used to be homeless people back in the day, back in the day. And she said, abbadanza, pizza for one. And she would hire these homeless people to actually put their stuff in the pizza. She said, now, we're going to make the best pizza we can make. We're going to make a pizza pie in your eye, and it's going to be amore. We're going to put some pickle matter in the pizza. We're going to put some toenail clippings in the pizza, and we're going to put some smoked reefer in the pizza. And we're going to have reefer, and we're going to have toenail clippings, and we're going to have also fecal matter, and we're going to have some cat shite. And this is going to be the best pizza, abbadanza pizza for one. Now,
So it tastes like
Mama Celeste, who is, Mama Celeste, and I take pride because this is my great-great-grandmother. She was very good. She was good behind, she was better than Paula Deen, She's better than making food of Paula Deen. Come on. Easy. Paula Deen, let's not attack Paula Deen. But she was better than Paula Deen. She had recipes. She did like floats. She did like Jello pudding, or she did like Jello. She did like
Jello.
Yeah,
Pudding.
that's right. But she made the best Jello pudding because she used skunk pudding. Now, back in the day, skunk,
Skunk
was
pudding.
eatable, was edible. They used to eat skunk. So they would take the skunk and they shoot the skunk, okay? And then, they try to squeeze its butt cheeks. Squeeze its butt cheeks and let it come out, the last hurrah. And not only did it squirt something out, of foul smell, it squirted its toppings on the pizza. Anyway, that's a skunk manure, skunk fecal matter. And I'm telling you what, it sounds disgusting, but it's absolutely, positively just delectable. It makes your mouth water. And it makes your eye, it makes your eyes water. And she was great. She did Jello, and she did all kinds of like, what's that stuff you put in the Jello and let it gel.
Fruit cocktail.
I don't know, some kind of stuff. But she would put all kinds of matter and stuck in the Jello and all that. It was delicious. You remember the chef we had back in the day?
Oh yeah.
What was his name?
I don't know, but I found it was a Mexican chef.
Yeah, Mexican chef.
And
I
just saw that show not too long ago. I found that tape of the show.
Yeah.
And that's like almost 20 years ago.
They closed down every restaurant he put up because he used questionable matter in his food. And it's chili.
That's why.
And chili beans, they weren't really chili beans he was using. You know what kind of beans they were?
What were they?
They were beans that you would, you have to take out of your butt end. Or beans coming out of your tail. But these are like refried beans too.
Kawi luat, the bird poops out the coffee beans.
You know what? And now I'm
those
telling you,
expensive
bless those birds. They crap out white matter.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the deal. This is the different shades of crap. Okay, we usually our stools are brown. Most stools are brown. That means our stools are healthy, for the most part. Birds' stools are white and they splatter. Okay. Cats' fecal matter is usually tinted with a little bit of yellow and green. Now you wonder, now what's this? Now yellow and green shite from a cat. So it's like like yellow shite on the tin roof. Whatever. The cat on the tin roof with a yellow shite coming out. And then dogs is also kind of runny, kind of brown. But
like a person.
But for the most part, the most healthy, and so the most healthy fecal matter, and Dr. Oz talks about this too, about stools.
That's all he talks about.
Dr. Oz talks about, and it's good talking about stools. And the stools, the most healthy ones are brown. Now that says a lot right there. You didn't know that? It's the most healthy ones. Now the ones that have problems, if we were shiting out like birds, then that's bad.
That's not
That's
right.
bad. Burning out like shit. Now imagine if the birds were shitting out what we shit out.
But birds.
No, just imagine.
Yeah.
You're going around and you're parked under a tree, and a bird comes under and craps out a big log, and splats on your windshield. Now that would be horrible.
Did you know that on Monument Avenue they're going to have a big statue of a pigeon next year, and all the generals on horseback will get their revenge.
That's right. But I'm telling you what, it's Dr. Oz does a good thing because he talks about fecal matter.
That's all he talks about.
And Dr. Oz talks about
I
fecal
wish
matter.
that show was on when I was a kid. I would have appreciated
talks about
it more.
fecal matter, and everybody can sit down there and take notes because Dr. Oz knows your fecal.
Yeah.
And when he talks about your fecal, you just say, yes, sir.
Do you know that?
Give us your fecal.
Do you
Here's
know
my
that
fecal.
a veterinarian? Here's a lot of people don't know what you're saying. You're hitting upon something. Do you know that that they could tell a really good veterinarian could tell by the poop of a dog what breed the dog is? Is that a poodle? Is that a beagle?
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean they actually could just look at it. I mean, which is very important. Like if you're like looking in the woods for a lost dog,
right?
They could, oh no, that's a German Shepherd.
What's the deal now? They're saying that they can tell the size of a woman's vagina or tell the size of a guy's penis by the size of his hand. Or size of his feet.
I've heard that. It's about
tell the size
fingers.
of a man's penis by the size of his
It's
feet.
an approximation, but
the size of a woman's vagina
I
by
don't
the
know
size
about
of her
the
hand.
woman, but I think it has to do with your fingers. Like if one finger is your index finger and your middle finger, if they're the same size.
Okay.
Or but I mean it's still an approximation.
It's an approximation.
I think most people have a taller middle finger anyway.
There's an approximation. Whatever you can tell by your fingers. I mean, but what if your fingers has goo on them?
Also, if you got them cut off,
no. If your
in a shop class, I don't think that matters either.
If your fingers have goo on them, does that any indication what size your member is?
No.
What size your member is, or your private matter?
No.
Okay.
There was a belief at one time that if you lost your arm or a leg in an accident, like this, we're talking about a couple of 100 years ago, and then only a couple of 100 years ago.
Right.
That if you lost your arm or leg in an accident and you fathered a child, they were very much afraid that your baby would be born with one arm or one leg, which is so stupid.
Right.
But that's what people believed because they didn't know anything.
I got you. Very fable tales and whatever. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's amazing, Lo, to think about. When you look at yourself, because sometimes when I look at myself in the mirror, I say, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one on the wall?" And actually, the mirror comes back to me and says, "You sly, slick fool, you know that you are." And I said, "Well, thank you very much." I said, "Do you know who you're talking to?" He said, "Yes, I'm talking to the king. I'm talking to the GG master, the king master, the king." On the day that I was born, unlike the Christ baby, because in the Christ baby he had 3 wise men that gave him treats. Well, when I was born, I had 3 wise women that gave me treats. They gave me sucrets, they gave me a sucker, and they gave me something really juicy with lips. And
Wax lips.
And I'm not talking. They gave me something very juicy with lips to put as my pacifier. And we're not talking human lips. And I'm telling you what, it felt good. It felt like I was sucking on something that was really good, that was pertinent. And it taught me well as I grew up how to do the dastardly deed.
Yes.
And you know how to do the dastardly deed. You take your tongue, you put your tongue into it. Put your tongue into it and you're doing the dastardly deed. Now, after saying that, I enjoy more so women giving me pleasure. As a young kid, I was giving women pleasure. I was giving older women pleasure as a young kid. When I was a baby, I was giving the nurse. She said, "Don't take that baby away. I'm playing with it." "Nurse, what are you doing with that kid?" "I'm playing with that baby." Oh. And I said, "Oh, give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. And this is when I was just born.
You took a turn for the nurse.
I sounded like Barry White. And I could speak.
Yeah.
And it was really good to hear me speak,
Right on.
Right on, man.
Right on.
Right on. Can't get enough of your love, baby. Right
show
on.
you right.
Show you right. Can't get enough of your love, baby. But no. So it was very exciting. And so the nurse was turned on. She said, "Listen here. Don't take that baby back." The doctor said that baby has to go back to its mother. No, I want that baby to pleasure me. I want that baby to pleasure me. Nurse, what you're doing is wrong.
It is wrong. I would have her locked up for that.
And she's like, well, but they asked me.
Yeah, I mean,
they asked me. I said, I have no problem.
You have no problem.
I have no problem playing with that matter. No problem playing with that matter. So yeah, giving and receiving.
Whenever you hear of these school teachers with these 14-year-old that have sex with these 14-year-old boys, in their classroom, and they always say what victims these 14-year-old boys are. I don't know what book are they reading out of that I missed out on.
Well, it's a book of Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss nursery rhymes. Hickory dickory dock, I stuck it up the teacher's clock. Hickory dickory dock, this teacher struck midnight, 12 o'clock. Mary Kay Letourneau and that kid right now are married. Mary Kay Letourneau and her love child, they're married, and they're still producing, and they're not going to be separated anymore.
Yeah, she must be like.
She's 50 and he's 20. She's in her 50s and he's 20. It is true love.
Better be.
True love. Must have been love at first sight.
I tell you,
who can say what love is?
You're right.
I mean, that was probably true love when they first met.
When I was 14 years old, the last thing I wanted to do was have to do diaper duty with a kid. I was too busy riding my bicycle. You
being 8 years old.
Yeah.
And you've discovered that you are. Can you? No, there's no way as 8 years old having a kid, right? No, because that means that you have
not 8 years old.
Had sex when you were 8. But you know what? But I told you.
I don't think you could. You have the capabilities to actually father kids until you're
13.
About
when you're 13
or 14.
Yeah. But I told you
it
told you when I was 8 years old, I had sex when I was 8.
Yeah.
And the girl was 13.
And she got pregnant?
Well, almost. I was 8 and she was 13, and
almost only counts in hand grenades.
Well, I understand. Well, I mean, actually, she was 16, and I was 8.
My girlfriend and I make love almost every night. We almost did it on Monday. We almost did it on Tuesday.
As long as you do it. I mean, as long as you do it. That's the main thing. But like I said, I was 8, and she was 16, and you know what? She was only 16. She was only, like I said, she was only 16. was only in single digits. I was a mere child of 8 years old. Now I'm 9 years old. Now she was. Oh, that's so poetic.
Yes.
You like that?
Yeah, I like the way
It explains my first intercourse, my first sexual experience.
I like your reworking.
I was only 8 years old.
Wow.
That's right.
You should have been on the Art Linkletter show talking about it with all the other kids. You should have been on the Bozo show.
Believe it or not, we got 10 more minutes left in the show here. So Kevin, drop a load for us.
Let's see. Well, the only thing I could say is that I will be at the State Fair next few days. I'm the announcer there, so if you think you hear my voice there, that will be me. So come on by and say hello. So that should be fun.
Okay. It's one of the is that a paying gig you got?
Oh yeah.
They pay you handsomely, or they pay you well?
They pay me prettily, but not handsomely.
Okay.
They pay me attractively.
Do they pay you orally? They pay you orally?
No.
Not be orally?
No, that I get for free.
So you
I never pay for that.
You never pay for well, Kevin, you're moving up. You're moving up in the world.
Yes.
I've taught you well. I've taught you well how to get it going on.
Yes. Yes.
My 10 steps of being stud. I mean, they've worked pretty well for you. They worked well. You followed my steps thoroughly, Dan.
Yes. Down. I know. You taught me everything sexually I know. It took a whole 10 minutes, but it was great.
Now let me ask you this: does it take less than that for you to get drop a load or what?
No, it
takes less of that.
It takes me. It takes me. It takes me all. Well, I'm too busy stuttering to tell you that it takes me a long time.
Okay. All right. So you got that in your memoirs.
Yes.
You have all of this documented in your memoirs.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yes.
Okay. So are we doing a show this year? Everybody's asking. It's still unknown yet. We're doing a show. It's still unknown. If we do a show, then we'll do a show. If we don't do a show, we don't do a show. It's that simple. But
like I said,
we'll see.
You don't want to be like those chumps in Washington, close the government. I don't think those guys should keep the government open. We should keep the show open because I think the public that's what the public wants, and that we do what the public wants. Yes.
Well, how do you know the public wants us? How do you know that? I feel like a redheaded stepchild sometimes, Kevin. You know?
Well, wait a minute. I didn't say it's easy, but it's worth it.
I feel like a redheaded stepchild. Sometimes I get my point across, and sometimes I have to get my point across in drastic form.
It is. It's not easy. It's not easy being.
Let them know what time it is. Get it. Just shout it out on the roof.
It's lonely at the top, as they say.
Is it?
But you gotta. But that doesn't mean you abdicate the throne. You keep working hard. You keep trying to make things topical. I mean, look at tonight. We talked all about what's going on in the news today, and pungent social comment. We provided that bathroom humor that everyone seems to love too. So we cover all the bases.
We work hard so you don't have to. Scrubbing bubbles down your toilet. Work hard so you don't have to. But somebody out there is right now listening to us on the radio.
Right.
And they're putting their hand on the radio because they want to feel the vibes of our vocal tones. They're putting their hands on the radio and they want to feel our vocal cords, vocal tones coming through the radio so they can pleasure themselves. So they're sitting right there, with their, I don't know, with their scrub bristle. They're bathing themselves in the bathtub and scrub bristle, with a...
What does he look like?
I don't know, but no, what she looks like. And she's going like, "Oh, gorgeous George. Man, you making me water." And I said, "Well, ma'am, that's good to hear." She said, "Oh, no, gorgeous George, I'm coming down in driplets and the way ain't stopping. It's like a rain in Seattle. It is just giving me extra delight and extra excitement. Ooh." And I said, "Well, thank you. Let me continue with my topic. And maybe as long as I talk on the radio, you'll feel more excited." "Oh, yes, I do. I feel exonerated. I feel exhilarated." And you know what? That's good. And keep on scrubbing with those bristles, and you'll feel even more exhilarated.
Okay.
Calvin?
You did real good.
Don't you use scrubbing bristles?
No. No,
When you whack the weed, you use scrubbing bristles. Come on.
No. What's that?
Okay, yeah. What's that?
What's that? What are you talking about?
Yeah, come on. You know damn well what I'm talking about. And if you say you don't do it, you liar. Any man that says he doesn't do that, they're liar.
Well, as you get older, you get to be my age, like 30, in the 30s and stuff. You don't do it.
Let me tell you something.
Probably girls around.
The girls do it for you, but sometimes you know how it feels, and sometimes you do it. I do it at least once a week religiously, and I'm proud to say that.
Religiously?
I do it once a week religiously, like breaking bread and drinking wine at communion.
You face Mecca or something? You prostrate on the ground.
Well, sometimes it's good. It's the most. Actually, it's healthy.
Yeah.
They say that sometimes it's not good. No, but it's actually healthy for you to do it because you're clearing out your glands.
Yeah.
Clearing out your
Are
glands.
you afraid of going blind?
And that's a wise tale.
Or do you do it till you need glasses?
That's a wise tale. Well, no, look, I had LASIK. I had LASIK surgery, so I can see just close up now. Now, close up, there's a little difficulty because as you get old, so now you have like bifocals or whatever. So a little bit of the masturbation, cause it's kind of hard to see without light in the nighttime close up because that's called, when you masturbate too much. But masturbation is good, though. Masturbation makes the blood flow in a certain spot, and it's good for you.
Well, I'm glad you're
I do it religiously once a week.
Glad
I do it religiously
Louis
once a
C.K.
week, and
talks
I'm gonna impress you when I say this.
All right.
When I do it, I eat Nova and Lox on a bagel.
Why is that?
I eat Nova and Lox on a bagel, then I'll go ahead and what I don't want, I'll just spread my own matter on there and give it to the bird or something. Give it to the animal.
I actually lox and bagel are pretty good.
Bagel and Lox, Nova and Lox.
Yeah, the lox is good anyway. But
well, now, okay, what about pickled herring? Do you eat pickled herring?
No.
You don't eat pickled herring? No. Okay.
I'm not a real big. I like roast beef. I'm very simple in my eating. Yeah. Very.
Like tofu, don't you?
No.
You like tofu?
I tell you why I don't eat tofu.
Why is that?
I think we once talked about this before. I read somewhere that that men who eat tofu, there's a lot of estrogen in it, and it can cause men to get breasts. And I've seen a lot of vegetarian men that are relatively in good shape with breasts like women. And I said, damn, I'd rather look terrible than have breasts like a woman. I like breasts on a woman.
Scooby, this is Rush Limbaugh talking to you on the airwaves. Martha's been feeding me some refried beans, and I have some gas coming out. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Rush Limbaugh has gas coming out of his anal tracts. Here, check this out. And check out this number. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you get it on K-Tel, all my anal tracks.
Who are those rappers, the Fat Boys or something? They're always going the
butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker.
They always go.
Yeah. The butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker.
I once was with a bunch of kids, and there was this one kid that I thought was having a gas problem. He's going.
Yeah.
And then when I looked over, he wasn't really doing. He was just doing with his mouth. That's what the rappers were doing.
Right.
I said, "Oh, that's a funny kid."
Well, I'll tell you what, gas is always cheap, Gas is cheaper at Taco Bell, no doubt about it. In case you didn't know that. Gas is cheaper at Taco Bell, no doubt.
No. And, yeah, well, anyway, I got to tell you something seriously about something you were talking about, masturbation.
Okay.
Was that
Masturbation.
I read somewhere, and I heard some guy personally tell me this. He says, never fall in love with that. And I said, why? And he said, because you do need, it's not that it's not good for you, it's actually you will enjoy it too much, to the point where after a while, you won't even want real women. You will just want to do that all the time. And you still need real women. And a real woman is so much better
profound.
Than that.
Yes. And that is true.
Yes.
But some people are not as lucky as I.
Yeah. There's some, there are people.
Some people are not as lucky as I. They have bad social skills.
When I was living in Ireland, which is a very religious country, you had men that were like 60 years old, never been with a woman. Yeah, because it's religious country. I'm sure a lot of the Asian countries are that way. I'm sure India is that way. America tends not to be that way, except for maybe the country, rural areas.
All right, Kevin, we're going to say bye-bye. It's been real. We talked about a married and multitude of most of the things here. This is the Gorgeous George Show. Believe it or not, my ding-dong is 12 inches, and it is a foot long. 12 inches long. And let me tell you something. Desiree, you want it. Go to Subway and get my foot long and stick it in your mouth. Stick it in your mouth. This is Hotsy the hot dog. When you just get your hot dog, you don't want any hot dog. You want to eat me. Eat me, you mofos. Eat me. Hotsy the hot dog wants you to eat me. Put me in your mouth and chuck me down and eat me, you mofos. That's Hotsy the hot dog.
It was a pleasure saying goodbye to you, George.
Well, you know what? Pleasure has been all yours. And on that note, there's one Mona Lisa, one Leaning Tower of Pisa, and there's only one Gorgeous George. Believe it or not. We'll see you soon. Later.
Take a dive along the beach. Stay
WCLM 1450 AM.